Okay, so we are going to learn about what I use and how I use my Reborn painting. So I've only been an artist for 2 months, and I started studying videos for 6 months before I started painting. And then I did start practicing on a cheaper kit that was actually given to me. This is the cheaper kit here. And he's very flat. He's not like Reborns that you would get from Bountiful Baby or McPherson or those other places people order from. But, I mean, he is working. It's just taking a lot more layers on him than it would to build like a Bountiful Baby, because the vinyl is so flat. And, you know, so, and I practiced on him, so I'm trying to get him to where I want him. I have to make him lighter as requested by the person that is getting him. So he's very orange, like a very orange-red color. So I've been working on getting that red and orange out of him. So he's getting there. He was done by this person here, M. Swartz, and he's a very old kit, as you can see, 2007. So I'm not sure where he's from. I can't find him anywhere online, but he was given to me by someone who found him in a thrift store. So anyway, I stripped him twice. So I practiced on him twice before touching the Bountiful Babies. And if you look on my YouTube channel, you will see the first 2 babies. There's June and there's Joseph. Joseph's in the middle of getting rooted, but I can show you. And this is all with the paints that I'm going to show you he was done with. Okay, so that's Joseph. He has his eyelashes, but I'm in the stages of rooting his hair. And I mapped his head. So he's my first micro rooting job, so I'm using a 3 gauge. So I don't want, I was told 6 will cause bigger holes, and I don't want that. So yeah, so he's coming along. So I'll show you when he's fully complete. Now, I started with FolkArt because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to commit to this. And if I was going to be able to do it, if I was going to be able to have the patience for it. So I wanted to start out with FolkArt, and I was actually very impressed on how they turned out. So I'm going to continue working with FolkArt for now. I would like to try maybe Luminaire at some point, or FX by McPherson. But I really like the FolkArt. Now, I use this one, which is a teal, and I usually mix it with the Admiral Blue to get for the veins. Okay, so that's what I usually use for veining. So that'll give you an idea. And you translute your paints with distilled water. Okay, so this is, I'll show you. This is the water that you will need. It's so hard to do with this camera. Distilled water, okay? What I do to make it easier, instead of picking up this huge bottle all the time, I just bought one of these squeeze bottles in the cooking section at Dollarama, which is a dollar store of things up to $4.50, $5 from $1.25. And I use that to, I just pour as much as I need until it's translucent. Now when I do the veining is quite more translucent than my blushing because it really shows up very quickly. But I find with the blushing, it can't be as translucent, or you'd have to like a lot of layers, but you don't want it thick either. So you want, and you'll see how I do that during the tutorial with the Joanna kit. So you absolutely need this. Okay, this is Glass and Tile Medium by FolkArt. Sorry. How you will do it is what I use is I buy these cute containers. I get them from the Dollar Tree because I like all my paints to be clean. So once I'm done with it, or I feel its color is not, you know, adhering as well, I just dump it and make a new one because it doesn't require a lot of paint. So you don't have to worry about, you know, I'm going to run out of paint because it really doesn't require that much. And you'll see that. So you always see me using one of these. Okay. And you're going to put your paint in, just like a drop of your paint. You don't want a lot of paint. And you'll see that when I do the tutorial. And then you're going to add as much paint as you put in. You're going to squeeze this in. So then you will just dump that in on top of the paint of the exact same amount. Try not to overdo it or underdo it. And then you mix that together, and then you're going to use your water, and you're going to pour some in there, slowly pour it in, about halfway or quarter to halfway. Then you mix it together, and then you're going to take a paper towel, and you're going to brush the sides on the side here to get the excess off, and then you're going to wipe it on the paper towel to see if it looks translucent. Another way other people have done is you could take a glass, so in this case it's a jar, you could take a glass and you can paint the other side, and if you can't see through it, then it's too dark. Okay, but I just use the paper towel. I know it looks translucent. You want to see some color, but not a lot of color, because if you make it too thick, your baby's going to come out chalky, and you don't want that. It's not going to look like a translucent skin toning. Okay, so this is extremely important. You must have this, or it will not stick to the vinyl. Okay. And the distilled water is your thinner. Do not use regular water, or it will come out gross. It won't be as nice and smooth if you use... What you can do if you don't want to buy distilled water, you can boil it, put it at a rough boil for 5-10 minutes, and then pour it through a filter and let it cool down, and then pour it into a container. And that's another option that you have. But I found it a lot easier just to go buy distilled water. It's not expensive. I get how many liters is this? I get 4 liters for $1 at the local grocery store, like Freshco. You know, it's not expensive. Walmart sells it there, and it's not expensive. Okay, so let me see. Now you're going to do washes. Now what I do is when I make my washes, I label them when I'm done. So this is a blue wash, okay? And then I mark them here so that when I do another baby that requires a blue wash, then I'll have it here. So usually I use blue wash if the baby looks too red, okay? So let me see. I buy these sponges and I cut them up. It's like a big circle sponge, and then I just cut them up, and it's a sea sponge. I use these for modeling. People do take cosmetic wedges and poke holes in it, but I don't know. I prefer this route a lot better, using the sea sponges, than I do going with the wedges. I think the wedges would be easier to get into some crease lines and things like that. But yeah, so your colors are... I learned my colors from a YouTuber by the name of Born Again, Reborn, Born Again, Reborn Babies, something in that realm. She's only one of the few that I could find that is using FolkArt and explains the colors that you need. So I just went through her whole video and wrote down all the colors that she was saying. And then I went to Michael's and I bought most of those colors. They didn't have all the colors. Of course, I'm in Canada. They don't have everything America has. So I'm going to go through those colors with you. This is parchment. Now, parchment is good as a flesh tone. Or if you want to lighten your colors, it has helped me with that. So usually when I do the yellow undertone, I will use the parchment and the yellow together. More yellow than parchment. And yeah, so parchment is quite important. I couldn't find the yellow that she was talking about, so I bought this one, which is similar, from Walmart, and it's called Daffodil Yellow. So that's the yellow I have. I rarely ever use this. This is pure black. I think pure black comes more important if you're going to be doing hair. But I haven't painted hair yet. I've only started rooting hair. This is black cherry. Black cherry is really good for creasing. You can also mix black cherry with engine red. Or if you prefer, I couldn't find the red she was talking about, so I got cardinal red. So those I use to mix my blushing. Not blushing, sorry, my creasing. For blushing is a blue, not blushing, short. Yes, I use black cherry and the red for blushing. The shading, you use blue. So I usually use True Blue for the shading. Okay. Let me see. Yellow ochre, I use for yellow undertone. This is a new yellow. This is better for color. I mean, I guess you could use it for yellow undertone. It's a little bright to me for that. I use the yellow ochre for that. But this is good for certain washes that you need. But if you want a lighter yellow undertone, you could use, this is Daffodil Yellow, because I couldn't find the yellow that she requested. This is Territorial Beige. I haven't even used it. Again, that's more for hair if you're going to do painted hair. This is a Ballet Pink. It helps with if you want like peachy colors to your babies, as well as I have Baby Pink, and I have Crushed Coral is one of those to get that the most peaches and cream kind of look. You're looking at Crushed Coral. Okay, if you wanted to go lighter, you could mix these with here or use these ones by yourself. It's whatever you prefer. But yeah, for the peachy look, definitely Crushed Coral. Crushed Coral can actually also, let's say, no, not Crushed Coral. Now, if you want to do a color, if you make a mistake with a color and you want to fix that, this is a good one, lavender. Lavender works really well as a color corrector, okay? So that is what I use, like if you have, I also use that for a lighter purple wash. And I use Perfect Purple for a regular purple wash. Okay, so this one is for the light purple wash, and this one is for the purple wash. Okay, so that's what I do for that one. Just trying to look at some colors for you. Here's brown maroon. Brown maroon is good for hair if you're painting hair. I haven't even used that one yet. This one is burnt umber. Burnt umber I use, but not a lot of it. I usually use it to add a little dark, like just a tad darkness, and it's a very small amount that I usually use. You would use this more if you were doing a either a mixed race baby or a you know, like a black baby, African American, whatever you choose, what term you use. So anyway, that's what that one is for. I do use this one sometimes to make a green. This is leaf green if I want to make a minty look. That's what I've been using. But then I went to Walmart and I found this one, which is called citrus green, because I could not find the green that she was talking about. But I find sometimes if you mix that with the other green, it does help get a mintier look. Trying to think what other colors to show you guys. I also have 2 blue. 2 blue is, I haven't even used this one yet, really. I think what other colors is important to show you. Ones that I used. The ones I use most often is teal, purple, just 411. The codes are on there. That's purple. Engine red, black cherry. I use quite often. Burnt umber, just a small amount often. The lavender. Yellow ochre I use often. Crushed coral I have used, especially for the nails. So it just kind of depends on the baby that I'm working on. And that's like my blue wash, as you can see. And I keep them in this, I got this cheer thing from Walmart, where I keep all my, it's like a 3, you know. And it's really cool because I can keep all my paints together in there. So if you have further questions on the colors, feel free to ask me. But as we do the tutorial, you will see what colors I am using to make that. I do have other colors I didn't show you because I don't really have used them. And that is for Caucasian babies. Okay. Haven't done the other babies yet. I'm going to be doing Joanna in a mixed race tone baby. Trying to think what else I can show you. Oh, these are my brushes. Those are my paint brushes. And my rose pen. You like that? Cute. These I use for washing. This is what I use for the washes. And what I mean by that is when I get it done and it's like a nice translucent color. This one I use for the bigger babies. This is the bigger one. And then this one I use for the smaller babies. And so I basically just dip it in the wash, and then I just paint the baby with it as quickly as I can, because this is air dry, so it is going to dry quickly. So you usually with the bigger babies, I'll do it in I try and do it all in one tone, but if I can't before it dries, then I'll do it two ways and just pounce so it doesn't look like it's half and half, you know, so there's no lines in it and stuff like that. But I will show that to you as I go along. So anyway, so this one I just paint the baby with. Now some people, what they will do, you can see the size difference. Some people, what they will do is they'll just paint the wedge, put the wash on the wedge, and use the wedge to go around. Now, I mean, you can do that, but the problem with air dry is that it'll dry before you're done. So you might be going on more places more than you are other places. And I found that to be very confusing. So I just paint the baby as quickly as I can with the wash, with my wash brush, and then I pounce with the wedge. Okay, so I don't paint the wedge and then go over it. I always just paint the baby with the wash brush and then I use the wedge because I want to make sure that I get every crevice of the baby. But what is important is that when you start pouncing, you always pounce where you have the most creasing, like the face. So if you're doing the face, you want to pounce the nose first, around the eyes, the chin, all of that, because if the paint gets stuck in those creases, you're going to have spoilage and it's not going to look even. So make sure that you really get into the creases. Now these two brushes here, okay, I use these brushes to get into the creasing, the ears. This one I usually use for the ears. But for the smaller babies, I'll probably mostly be using this one. This one I use for up in the nose to get the wash out of the nose. I use it to get the inside the ear canal in between the fingers so that there's no spoilage. And I found that this really made a big difference so that I have no spoilage or spots once the baby is dry. Okay, so that's what I do. I will also use this one here if paint gets in the ring because I don't want it to look messy when it goes to the new mommy. So I make sure the ring is clean too, where the zip tie would go to hold the baby, or the ring or to hold the baby's head. So I don't like it to look all messy and gross. I like it to look nice. So I try and keep it as clean as I can, but when you're doing the washes, it does get on there. So I do my best to make it look nice and neat. Now this brush here I use for veining, which is really good. So I'm trying to get it to focus in on it, but it's because it's so small. So I use these brushes I got from Walmart, I should tell you. And they're made by Simply Simmons. And it's a Walmart product here. I'm in Canada, so I'm not sure what products they carry over there, but I'm assuming it might be the same thing. So this is a number 4 by Simply Simmons. This is a number 6 by Simply Simmons. A number 10. It just says 3/4 inch. You see where it says? Where is that? Where does it say that? Sorry. Bear with me. And it's at the top of Simply Simmons. I don't know why it won't. But it's got like a bracket. So it's 3/4 inches, okay? And then this one is, oh no, it's run down a bit, 1/2 inches. And these all came in the same package. All right. Now these brushes I ordered off of Amazon. They're quite cool. These are amazing for creasing, detailing like eyebrows. They're very thin, like hairline thin. And it's good to keep these plastic things over them if you can, because they can break easily. They're very, very fragile. So, and I love the design in the middle of it. I think that's so cool, the way that looks. Isn't that pretty? It's like crystals. Yeah, when you're stressed out, just hold your brush and turn it. Focus on the prettiness. So, I really love these, and I got these on Amazon. If you can't find them on Amazon, let me know. They're saved in my list, and I can send you the link. And that's, of course, that's Amazon.ca, but I can't see why, if you're in America, you couldn't be able to find it in America. These other brushes that I have, they are just dollar store brushes that I just use for things, but the other ones you see me mostly use. Now, this one here I use for mixing. I heard someone say that she prefers to use these ones for mixing, but I am the other option. I use this one for mixing. But it's up to you. It's up to what you prefer you want to do. It doesn't really matter. But I don't want my wash brushes getting a lot of thick paint in them. Or like the medium, the pure medium when you mix the medium in with the colors. So that's why I just prefer this one. This one came with the other brushes too. And this is 1/2 inch as well, by Simply Sims. As you can see, I use this one a lot. So, those are my main brushes. And I just buy cosmetic wedges from the dollar store. I use vinyl gloves because vinyl gloves help you not get the paint sticking to your hand from your oils, or you getting like dirt on them or something like that. You want to keep your hands really clean. So I just buy vinyl gloves from the dollar store. I'm allergic to latex anyway, so that works out. I haven't heard about anyone using any latex gloves, so I would look into that. But I use only vinyl gloves. People have used polymorph gloves, the blue ones, but I was told you should not use any gloves that are not clear gloves. So, but I haven't heard of people having issues with them, but that's just, I like to be cautious because the kits are so expensive. I don't want to take a risk of staining them. So these are cosmetic brushes I found at the dollar store. And these are the ones that I use for creasing as well, just to kind of brush in that creasing to spread it out as it's drying. And you do that as it's drying. Let it sit there for like a second, and then like maybe 5 seconds, and then you want to start using your brush. And I'm going to tell you that creasing and blushing takes the longest with air dry. It really does, because usually with the veining, you don't have to wait long. Just wait like half a minute, and then you start pouncing it off. But with blushing, you have to leave it on a little longer, or it'll just come right off, I found. And that's with the Bountiful Babies. McPherson, I found the same thing. Actually, McPherson, I found I have to leave it on a little longer. And that's on the Saskia kit. I don't know. And she was stripped. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But I use this one as well to get through more narrow edges. This one is more for blushing. But I also use my wash ones for blushing as well. But yeah, I just got those at the dollar store. I'm trying to think what else I need to tell you guys before I wrap up. I think it's enough for this video. I don't think that there's much more I can tell you that I need for this video, but you will learn as we're doing the tutorial. You will learn what you need and what you don't need. We'll be using Joanna, like I said, for the tutorials, for the tutorial with using these paints. Okay, so I think that explains it all. So we're going to start the tutorial tomorrow. I'm going to wash Joanna today and clean her up, let her dry, and then we'll start the tutorial tomorrow. I got the new babies in here, but Joanna is right here waiting for her makeover. waiting to bring her to life. So we'll start that tutorial tomorrow. If you have any questions, please just comment, and I'll answer them the best way that I can. And we'll go from there. Thank you.